been sitting here in my onesie by the fire, you know, reading a monster book. And then I saw you here and decided, well, this is the perfect time to do the Winter Wonderland Tag. The first question is, what book is so happy and sweet that it just warms your heart? Well, it's not very hard to get warmed by this fire, but when I'm not here, a good book to warm your heart is anything from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series. This series I started while I was in high school. I was around the same age as these girls. And it just made me understand what it was like to have friends that were as great as these four friends. And how even though you're apart, you should never give up on those friends. So I chose this one, Forever in Blue. What is your favorite book with a white cover? Well, it just so happens I've recently read my favorite book with a white cover. And that book is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This book is so good and it makes me so happy, and it's also the only book I own with a white cover. So it just so happens that even though it is one of my favorite books, it has a white cover, so it makes it my favorite with a white cover. You're sitting in a nice comfy chair, reading in a onesie, drinking some hot chocolate, reading a monster book. What book is it? Well, I'm sitting here. I'm not exactly in a chair because I'm by the nice warm fire. And because I'm not by the nice warm fire, I don't really need any hot chocolate. But I am reading a monster book. And that monster book is Harry Potter, Page to Screen, The Complete Filmmaking Journey. I got this book last year for Christmas. I haven't actually read very much of it because it's such a monster. This thing is huge. It's bigger than my head and has 529 pages. This thing is the monster book of all monster books. It started snowing, and you've decided to have a snowball fight. Which fictional character have you chosen to have a snowball fight with? Well, when I think of snowball fights, I always go back to the Harry Potter books, especially when Harry is wearing his invisibility cloak in the snow. And I just think that invisibility cloak would be kick-ass during a snowball fight. So I'm definitely going to say Harry Potter. And if I could have a few more people, I'd definitely invite Ron and Hermione along. Sadly, your fire is beginning to go out. What book do you choose to tear the last few chapters out to keep it going? Well, this fire is propane, so it's never going to go out unless my propane runs out. But if it wasn't and I had to choose a book, I'd choose Mockingjay. Actually, I'd probably choose this whole entire book because it ruined my life. I actually did not like this book. I'm hoping that I'm going to like the movie, but I especially didn't like the last few chapters. What book is so close to your heart that you would gift to someone who hasn't really gotten into reading before and is looking to get into reading? That book, and this is also many other people's books, so I'm just following the trend, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This book is my favorite book, and to be honest, it took me a while to get into it. I've never talked about this before, but when my parents first bought me this book, I wasn't a big fan. I was like, I'm not gonna read that. I don't want to read about wizards. What are you talking about? And then I brought it to my grandparents' cabin because I told my parents that I would give it a try. And boy, was I wrong. I love this book. It's one of my favorite books. It's like #1 in my book list. It's not the book that got me into reading. I've been into reading long before these books came out. But it's the one that is most dear to my heart. So here, if you got into reading, I gift it to you. Not my copy, that's mine. And that's my Winter Wonderland tag. I will see you soon in my next video. And Merry Christmas.